We're up and running. Welcome to the Pedigree Matching Zoom room. I thought we'd start off today, before we get into looking at aspects on how to use the program. I'd like to run through the Breeders' Crown winners. Some very interesting pedigrees here and some good lessons to be learned from them. So I'm just going to go through them here. We'll start off with the two-year-olds. Two-year-old filly trotter here, Lady Chaos. As you can see, she's a Cantab Hall out of a Muscles Yankee mare. Very common breeding well, you see a lot of them anyway, like that. In fact, if you look over here at the star profile for Cantab Hall, you can see he's got a very clear profile. Right from the very beginning, in his very first crop, he started to show this. There was explosive matter here. And that is this inbreeding, this maternal inbreeding to Speedy Crown. It's not necessarily a Speedy Crown or a son, but it could be Valley Victory or a son of Valley Victory. But as you run down through here, you'll see that 18 out of the 20 have this inbreeding to Speedy Crown or to the Speedster line. Here's a inbreeding to the Speedster line for the Pro Pine Chip through Arnie Almahurst. But here's the Speedy Crown double up here. This is one that's a little different. Sonia Dream, but that's one of the two exceptions in the top 20. So as you run down, you can see Speedy Crown Practice, Speedy Crown Valley Victory. Here's the other exception. Amber Gold, Donerail, Trotting Happy, Power Seed is Arnie Almahurst, actually. Two Speedy Crown ones here, two Speedy here. Speedy Crown, Self-Confident. Son of Speedy Crown here, Son of Speedy Crown, Son of Speedy Crown. So over here, Lady Chaos, of course, that you see, that's just exactly what you got here. Inbred to Speedy Crown. And in this particular pedigree too, there's something special too. The red highlights here are the individuals that are in X Factor position. In other words, if you believe in the X Factor, this particular mare was inbred to Speedy Crown on X Factor and brings along whatever maternal heritage she brings along to a pedigree, which is pretty exceptional. Because you see Speedy Crown in a lot of maternal pedigrees. So obviously he's bringing something special into the mix. And if you look up here to Cantab Hall, you'll see that Speedy Crown is in the X Factor position up there too. So this particular mare, her dam is inbred to Speedy Crown, X Factor inbred to Speedy Crown, and she herself is. That's pretty significant stuff. Another thing that you see down here in Strong Legacy, it may not be obvious to you because you can't see the individuals on the page. But back with Strong Legacy, we have a mare called Margaret Parish. I'm just going to show you where she is here. I'll put up the pedigree here. In fact, in looking at these trotters here today, you'll see a lot of Margaret Parish and a lot of situations where the dam is inbred to Margaret Parish. Muscles Yankee, for instance, down here goes through down here to Burma Hanover. And Burma through Earl's Princess Martha, Protector, Margaret Arian, Margaret Parish. And the significance of Margaret Parish, if you haven't already read the book on, that I wrote on maternal lines, and particularly the X Factor chapter, the significance of Margaret Parish is that she is pretty much the dominant maternal trace to the X Factor in standardbreds, both trotters and pacers. Used to be more leaning towards trotters, but now, as you'll see when we look at some of these pacers, some of the dams there, and in fact the fillies that won, were doubles to Margaret Parish on X Factor. Here's what makes her so special. Margaret Parish is one of two mares, actually there's three of them, in around the same time frame, early 1900s, that were inbred 3x2 to a trace to this mare here, Miss Russell. Miss Russell is the subject of my book, The Queen Among Queens. And she is, so it traces back to her. A lot of the other good mares too, similarly go back to Miss Russell, but Margaret Parish is kind of special because she's inbred so closely to Miss Russell. And there's an old saying that I've seen it in several references on the maternal lines, that when you inbreed closely like this on the maternal lines, there's a possibility of, well, certainly doubling up on something special, but also if you go back far enough.
There were a couple things she told us in that meeting when we were discussing that aren't working the way she said. So I don't know whether it was just her thing.
I just have to mute you while I'm going through this here. There's this all goes back to the early beginnings of trotters and pacers, whether you've been you've seen this or not, but it goes all the way back to a mare called the Spanker mare, who was about as closely inbred as you possibly get, being a son being bred to his mother. But the theory back then was that such a breeding would cause some kind of a genetic mutation that created something positive in the maternal lines. And if you follow the Spanker mare through the generations up to now, you come right through Sally Russell and Miss Russell. And the Pilot Junior, he brings it from his maternal lines as well. So that's why Miss Russell becomes a target of interest when you're talking about X Factor and the effects of the X Factor on maternal pedigrees. So anyway, you have it here to protect her in Muscles Yankee. And you also have it here, and here's Earl's Princess Martha again. That's the same mare that is here as the Dam of Burma Hanover. Through Rodney. Rodney was her son. So Rodney and Hoot Yankee are closely related, and they both go back to Margaret Parish. So Lady Chaos has a lot of stuff going for her maternally, as you can see. She's got that double to Margaret Parish of Strong Legacy, and she's got this X Factor double to Speedy Crown across her pedigree. She's also, for those of you who are interested in the special patterns in pedigrees, she's a TV pattern. That's a top and bottom or pattern, which basically is a Speedy Crown line sire bred to a mare that's inbred to Speedy Crown. That's the TV pattern. It shows up again and again, particularly in trotters, but it's also fairly significant in pacers as well. But this is a very good example of it because it is. You can see it right here, Speedy Crown, Speedy Crown. Speedy Crown is just off the page here, but it is the Speedy Crown line. And this is a mare that's inbred to the Speedy Crown. Now, what's interesting about this one, if you go to the next guy on the list, the 2-year-old pacing colt on a streak. This is on a streak. Again, by Cantab Hall. Out of the mare. That's inbred to Speedy Crown. Right here. Same thing. And again, this mare Habits Best. If you look back, there's Muscle Yankee again. This is two in a row. Two of the crowns were won by almost identically bred mares, or out of almost identically bred mares. And here you go. Homesick is again. If you go back through Bright Valor, you'll find Margaret Parish here. I have a list on my computer of all the sires that trace back maternally to Margaret Parish. So when they're off the page like this, I can track them down fairly well. I can get to know them all by name by now, but what am I trying to do here? Okay. So here's Rodney. Here, Bright Valor is by Rodney, of course. Harold's Princess Martha, and Margaret Parish is here. You see. Rodney is also on the bottom side of the maternal side of Super Bowl, which is probably the most significant trace that Rodney has. But anyway, this is a mare that's basically the same as Lady Chaos. And interestingly, the horse that finished second in this race was another Cantab Hall, but this time out of a Yankee Glide mare with inbred to Speedy Crown as well. Maserati, I think it was. So here's Maserati. This is the horse that finished second. So here we have three almost identical pedigrees. 2 crown winners and 1 runner-up. And by a sire, Cantab Hall, it's getting a little long in the tooth. People are still buying them and paying good money for them, and why not? If you can get Breeders' Crown winners out of them, especially if you follow this pattern. And if you look at the ones in the coming sale, the upcoming sale, and the Black Book sale, Timonium this week, there are several Cantab Halls there that have this very significant Speedy Crown line inbreeding and maternally. I'll leave it for you to find out which they are, but all you have to do is go do it over here and click on the sale profile, pick the Black Book, pick trotters, and do a search. And it'll eventually bring up these here. It'll take a minute or two. But, well, I can't go back to these until this is finished. It's too bad. But anyway, this is and again, this on the street, of course, is a TB pattern, same as Lady Chaos. Now I'm going to go, well, if I can get this out of the way here, it'll come up here momentarily. I shouldn't have clicked on that because this it's a large report. Obviously, there's several hundred horses in it, trotters, and it takes a minute or two for it to come up. There we go. And down here, if you scroll down, here are the Cantab Halls. Now, anytime you're looking at profiles, you want to try to find ones that are as close as you can, as you can to what's worked. And in other words, these three were all had Speedy Crown across the pedigree and the dams. Now here are the dams of the ones in the Timonium sale. These are all Cantab Hall. Here's one here that has Speedy Crown, Sons of Speedy Crown right here. Will that be a good one? Well, let's check and see what his family's done. And right off the top, here's one here by Cantab Hall, the best one out of this mare. And this is a full brother to the one that's in Timonium. 327, not, it's a nice horse. He wasn't a crown winner, but you can see that this was a nice mare, Malabar Man mare. She didn't make a whole lot of money, but she's a full brother to one that made 646,000. Again, when you're looking at pedigree like that, that's almost kind of like a sure thing, if there's any such thing as a sure thing, because there's just so many things going for it in this particular pedigree. The one of the things that's not going for it here is that Malabar Man himself is not a significant as far as Margaret Parish is concerned. So the dam is not a double to Margaret Parish. But let's go down here. Here's one here. Dangerous or Dangerous, I don't know. Let's look his pedigree. This is a Cadabra mare. And there's the Speedy Crown right in the middle here. And another Speedy Crown here. This is double inbred, the Speedy Crown. Does that make it any better? Well, let's see what Sunrise Avenue has done. This is the first foal. Could be a great opportunity here for somebody who likes first foals, and it's a colt as well. Let's have a look at his the sale page. So he's a Cadabra, and it's pretty light. This could be a very inexpensive colt. Certainly has a pedigree to word, because Cadabra is loaded with Margaret Parish. He's got three maternal traces to Margaret Parish, and you wonder why he's so good. And then, of course, your Muscles Yankees got the Margaret Parish in there too. So it's a pretty light pedigree, but you can make a case that, for the money, here you go down here, the Muscles Yankee mare up here. Well, she's got to have $1 million made. So it gets a little better down here, and there's an $800,000 winner. I think you could probably get this one for maybe 30 or 40,000. I don't know, maybe even less. And you just might have 2 years' time, you just might have a crown winner. Dangerous. Anyway, that's there's other ones in here. You can have a look down here. This one obviously doesn't work. This one's there's a double, an inbred Arnie Amahers. We saw one of them on the top 20 list. Here's Amber Gold Yankee Glide. Here's a mixture of Arnie Amahers and Speedy Crown. Nothing here. That's Son of Muscle Yankee, and that's Speedy Crown, I guess you could call it. Nothing here, nothing here. You see, when you go down through here, based on the profiles, you can take half of these and throw them out. It's just not going to work. Here's a good one. Motormouth Hanover, Speedy Crown Practice. Let's see what that family's done. The best one is the Cantab Hall, $500,000. So that's the value of profiles when you're looking in sales. You very quickly can get rid of the ones, just eliminate the ones that don't fit the profile. Sometimes you'll be surprised. Here's a sire he's been going for 10, 12 years now as a sire. And yet the breeders still don't have it right. Why would somebody breed this way? When all he has to do is look at the profile and see it doesn't work. And it's amazing that after so long that people really haven't got this figured out. Another one up here, dribbling B, that was an Italian bred horse, but and it's out of a Muscle Hill mare. Everybody thinks that just because it's out of a Muscle Hill mare, it's going to be dynamite. But that doesn't fit the profile. You're wasted a breeding on for this Muscle Hill mare. Muscle Hill is a great sire, but he can't do it by himself. He's got to have the rest of the stuff below him in order to turn him into a broodmare sire. And this is just not one of them, based on the profile. Now, every now and then, there's going to be one that comes along that busts the profile, but those are long shots, and long shots cost money. Not so much to buy them, but you can pay a lot for them and get nothing out of it. Even if you don't pay a lot for it and still get nothing out of it, you still lost a lot of money. So that's the 2-year-old. Two-year-olds. Okay. Now I'm going to put up the 3-year-old trotters here. Amigo Volo. And I'll put up the profile for Father Patrick. He's a relatively young sire, Father Patrick. But even at that, his profile is getting pretty well established. And just look at this. Here we have the greens are Nova Victory line. Father Patrick's sire is Cantab Hall, who is Garland Bell, Nova Victory line. Nova Victory, Nova Victory, Nova Victory, Nova Victory, Nova Victory. All the way down here, there's one exception. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the top 20 have a Nova Victory line. And just like his father, he seems to be favoring a pattern similar, although not in total, but you can see here's an inbred Speedy Crown, inbred Speedy Crown. And why not? Because it's the same sire line. So these are indeed TB patterns. And another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here, 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 and here. So the majority of these are TBs to the Speedster line and more closely to the Speedy Crown line. So where does Amigo Volo fit into this? Here's Amigo Volo. He's got Value Victory Speedy Crown here out through Yankee Glide, and here's the Nova Victory line. Another interesting part of the pedigree here seems to be this Stars Pride line that pops out into quite a few of the top ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the top 8. So that would be something you'd have to keep in mind if you're going looking for a Father Patrick. But again, Amigo Volo, other than that, he is part of the profile. He's the best one in here. He's gone past Green Shoe in earnings now, with his win last night. But if you look at his dam, there's something else going on here. That involves a different mare. As I mentioned, there are 5 significant X-factor mares in standardbreds. Margaret Parish happens to be one of them. Another one is Helen Hanover, who's very significant in pacers in particular. Then you have a mare called Hatteras. And Hatteras is back here in 1898, about the same time as Margaret Parish came. Here's another mare that's inbred. This time inbred to Mambrino Patchen. Mambrino Patchen is another X-factor source that goes back through to the same thoroughbreds as Margaret Parish does through Miss Russell. And you see how this is double inbred back through here. So Hatteras is very, very strongly inbred to the X-factor source. Hatteras shows up primarily through a horse called Dean Hanover in trotting pedigrees. Here he is here, sire of the dam of Misty Hanover here. And Misty Hanover again is down here. So this is an X-factor traced directly to Dean Hanover to Hatteras. So that's across the pedigree of Margarita Mama. But that's not the only trace. In fact, if you go down here to, well, Texas has it here. Garland LaBelle himself, this pedigree here through Rosemary, I believe. Let me see. Rosemary is inbred to Dean Hanover directly. And so there's, that kind of doubles up what you're bringing back here from Texas, and you got it also through the dam of Magna Force, and you also have it through Texas. So there's a very strong complement of Hatteras in Sheena Hall, the dam of Margarita Mama. And of course picks it up again through the maternal side of Yankee Clyde. So that's another mare that you have to watch for. And particularly you see that because of Garland LaBelle has it, and because it's doubled up maternally and here. Conway Hall, Andover Hall, and Angus Hall, all, when you look at the pedigrees of the mares that they did best with, you see Hatteras, and in the bottom side of in the dams themselves. So that's you don't. None of them have Margaret Parish. They have Conway Halls. The Hall sons don't have any, but Hatteras is their key maternal connection. So when you have those sires in the maternal side of your pedigree, it doesn't hurt to breed to sire that also has Hatteras maternally, and Yankee Clyde being one of them. So that's Amigo Volo and Hatteras. In fact, Margarita, as I said, she's a double to Hatteras here. Father Patrick has Hatteras as well through his maternal line. So if this was a filly, she would have got an extra dose of it. I'm not sure if if there's been a daughter out of here or not. Let's have a look. Yeah. Oh, there's 2 geldings. And here's a daughter right here in the sale. Cosmovolo. She was in a sale. No, she wasn't in a sale. If she's privately held. I don't blame them for holding on to her, I guess. Why would you sell one that has done this well with Father Patrick so far? Unless you're short of money. Now, let's the next one is a weirdo. Name is next level stuff. Okay. Sebastian K finally gets a winner. And he gets a big one. But Sebastian K has been far from successful up till now. But it proves a point that I often used to make in my seminars, is that if a sire gets the right mare, any sire can have a great horse. And here's Sebastian K's profile to date. 646,000 made by the next level stuff. The next one, best one, made 69,000. And that's a year older. And you go down from there. So what was it about this filly that made her so good? If you look up here, here's the maternal lines of Sebastian K. Probe, that's a Star's Pride line, and the Prophet, which is an Axworthy line. And his sire, the sire of Sebastian K, Korean up here, has a line bred Star's Pride line dam. So there's 3 Star's Prides and an Axworthy. And yet if you look here, the next level stuff, these 2 are Valley Victories. It's a Nova Victory line. You do have a Super Bowl line here. But that's a pretty tenuous link. You just have that across the pedigree when you're looking for something special. I mean, at first blush, when you look at something like that, you say, oh, I would, from a pedigree matching standpoint, say, there's really not much going on here other than that connection to Super Bowl across the pedigree here, which is pretty lonesome stuff. So what else was in here that's worth looking at? Well, if you go up into Sebastian K and you go down through them, you'll find down through here he is, here, Dean Hanover. A Dean Hanover mare, right on the maternal line. So Hatteras is obviously in play in Sebastian K. And let's go down to Nantab. I want to show you her. Maybe I'm grasping at straws here in an attempt to explain this one. It's always interesting to go and look at the best ones and try to figure out what was it that made them so good. Well, look at Nantab. She's a Cantab Hall. inbred to Speedy Crown on X Factor, and across the pedigree here, the dam is inbred to Speedy Crown on X Factor. And this maternal line goes right down to a mare, has Hatteras on it. Green Speed has Hatteras and Margaret Parish. Cuban has Hatteras. Donerail has Hatteras and Margaret Parish. So Nanny Fine, the dam of Nantab, is a double to Margaret Parish and a double to Hatteras. And Cantab Hall, of course, he too doubles up Hatteras maternally through Texas and Garland Lavelle. So this is pretty much a loaded mare, this Nantab. She has a lot to offer. And maybe that's all that needed to happen here. That solitary link to Hatteras and a mare that has a double to Margaret Parish. I write in my book on in maternal lines, when I'm summing things up at the end of the book in my final notes. I wrote something to the extent that you can make all of the justifications you want for what makes a pedigree work. But every now and then, something will come along that doesn't fit any of those things, with one exception. Margaret Parish is doubled into pedigree, just like it is here. That's the one thing that kind of knocks everything else out of the park, are those doubles to Margaret Parish. So anytime you see that in a mare, the potential is there for her to produce something special, regardless of what she's bred to. We're not looking at special pedigrees here. There's not I suppose you could say that this is no, it's not. It's not even a TV pattern, although this goes back to Peter Scott. French line goes back to Peter Scott. And it's certainly not a double pedigree. So patterns don't help you. Statistics don't help you because up till now, Sebastian K has been terrible. And you could forecast that because if you went back to see his first two crops in Sweden, they produced nothing either. So it was a mistake to bring him in here, I guess, but he was a very, very fast horse, world champion at one time. But speed doesn't equal breed necessarily. But anyway, it is a weird pedigree, and you can rationalize it to a certain extent if you're a fan of the maternal stuff, and particularly Margaret Parish. In fact, I make it a habit of when I'm going through the sale book of marking every pedigree that's got Margaret Parish. And even though I might not like the look of it initially, I'll go back to it and see what else there is there. It may not fit my idea of a pattern, a successful pedigree pattern, but I want to make sure, because I've run into this before. I've seen horses overcome the lack of other indicators just simply because they're out of their mares that are double, or they're fillies that have a double to Margaret Parish across their pedigree. Okay, the next one is a nice easy one here. Get into the aged mare. I believe the first mare to win 3 consecutive Breeders' Crowns. Manchego.
Norm, can I just ask a quick question? I noticed on that
Prefer not to right now, if you were just waiting
okay.
until we get through, and we'll catch up to you.
Okay.
I'm muting everybody at the moment just so that we can get through this without, and then we can get the questions afterwards if that's okay. We have a lot of people online, and if everybody started to jump in at the same time, it would get a little chaotic. Okay, so we're going to look at Manchego and see what she has to offer. Well, the first thing you see, of course, is this. This is a double pedigree. Speedy Crown, Noble Victory, and Super Bowl. Speedy Crown, Noble Victory, and Super Bowl. Another Speedy Crown here. So this is a double pedigree. So that obviously is a big help. What you see also in here is that if you work your way back through the pedigrees too, that Manchego is a double to Hatteras, as is Secret Margaret, a double to Hatteras. And Corinne Hanover is a double to Hatteras. And Concert Gore actually is a double to Margaret Parish. So there's a Margaret Parish and double and a couple of doubles to Hatteras in the maternal side here. So all in all, this is pretty strong pedigree. I don't know if there's other Muscle Hills here. Here's a yearling and a 2-year-old. And it was won by Dewey Cheatham and Howe. So that's Manchego. Pretty easy stuff, this one. I mean, once you get a double, and it's got the kind of money in the pedigree, and obviously, if you look at her sales page, probably something pretty decent in here. Possess the Magic right there, $1 million winner. When you're looking for yearlings, I went through this once before. There are basically 4 things you look for. You look for performance in the mare. You look for a pedigree pattern across of the yearling. You look at the percentages of the cross. And you look for special individuals in the pedigree. It may be the maternal family, or it may be just somebody like this, to prove that the family can indeed produce something special. Everybody wants to get a champion, but if there are no champions in the pedigree, it's tough to be the first one. It's a long shot. But if the pedigree already shows that it's capable of producing something special like this, and this is decent too, then it helps to solidify your decision making. I mentioned also that that's a favorite trick of Stefan Balazzi of Order by Stables. He won't buy a broodmare unless he sees something like this back in the 2nd or 3rd generation. He wants to see $1 million winner in the pedigree. And it works. I mean, he's selling yearlings averaging $200,000 to $300,000 for his yearlings, and has had tremendous success over the last 2 or 3 years, because that's the kind of mares he works with, and he doesn't pay a lot of money for them. The next one you're going to see is out of a mare like that. This is the top colt. Chimpanzee. 3 years in a row, a crown winner as well. And also a double-double. Speedy Crown, Arnie Almahurst, Speedy Crown, the Star Sprite. Speedy Crown, Arnie Almahurst, Star Sprite, Arnie Almahurst. It's a double-double pedigree. Out of a mare that didn't race. We'll go a little deeper here in this one. What do you got down here? Family of Muscle Hill. And if you take the time to check all of these mares, you'll see something like that. This is the mare didn't race. He actually raised this mare, Steamy Windows, out of Commander Queen. His order by stable was responsible for the best one out of this mare. And he kept this mare, even though Muscle Massive up to that point hadn't been any good, but the pedigree was right. She just didn't race. That didn't mean she wasn't going to be a broodmare. She still had the right pedigree in terms of pedigree matching, and it worked out for him. Now, Gippa was by Chapter 7, so it's a different deal from what we've been looking at this point, different sire line. But you can see that the Steamy Windows, you can see her, she's double pine chip across the pedigree, and she's got a bunch of other stuff working for her. Here's Hatteras through Hickory Pride down here. And Hatteras is down through Peridot here. And a couple of other times. I think there might also be some. This, of course, is Margaret Parish here, and I believe there's another Margaret Parish down here somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but anyway. So the mare herself was pretty strong maternally. Let's have a look at some of the pacers now. Some beast somewhere had a tremendous night. The 3 winners, 3 and 4, I believe. Oh, yeah, including the aged ones. He had 3 crown winners. Tremendous sire, obviously, has been. Too bad we lost him so early, because although his oldest now are 10-year-old, he's still putting them out. He would have been just in his prime right now. This particular pedigree, this is a filly, Fire Start Hanover. Art Major through Annihilator is a Margaret Parish. There's Margie's Pretty Margie. That goes back to Margaret Parish. Matt Scooter through Adept Hanover goes back to Margaret Parish. So Fit to Frame is a double to Margaret Parish. Not only that, Camfella or Beach Towel through Ambro Impel goes back to Margaret Parish. So Fire Start Hanover, her own pedigree is a double to Margaret Parish, and her dam is as well. So that's one of the most significant aspects of this. And again, if you're looking for TB pattern, there's none there. And there's no, well, Abercrombie, because of this Matt Scooter, there's nothing up here maternally that fits it, so it's not a double-double. So you don't have the special pattern but you have the special mare, and you have the special connections to Margaret Parish, both across the Pedigree and in the dam. So that's one that you definitely would be looking at in the sale, even though it doesn't quite fit your eye in terms of what's across the Pedigree. And there's a couple of other nice, like Brett Hanover across the Pedigree in a filly. Brett Hanover is a great broodmare sire, but he's an X Factor carrier, as is Tar Heel, two of the most important ones, non-Margaret Parish ones anyway. So Firestart Hanover certainly had a license to be as good as she turned out to be. Perfect Sting. We looked at the Always Be Mickeys last time we were on, and I showed you that he has a very specific profile pattern early on that shows up in the four best ones that he's had so far to date. If you look at Always Be Mickey himself, on his maternal side, you'll see a big towner line here, an Abercrombie, an Albatross here, and a big towner up here. You're not going to find a whole lot of mares with big towner, and you do find some. But the most important part of his pedigree is the Abercrombie Albatross connections here. It's the same thing as what was important with Always a Virgin. So it's kind of a like father, like son deal. If you look at the best by Always a Virgin, they have that Abercrombie Albatross connection maternally, just as you see in Always Be Mickey. So it was reasonably predictable that Always Be Mickey would do the same thing as his father did. And indeed, if you look over here, I ran through this before, but some of you might not have seen it last week. There's the Abercrombie. It's not Albatross, but it's a son of Meadow Skipper. It's not Abercrombie, it's a Brett Hanover, an Adios line, but here's the Albatross. Abercrombie Albatross. Abercrombie Albatross. Abercrombie Beach Style. I'm making an exception for Beach Style. He's a grandson of Meadow Skipper, but you get the general drift here. Here's Abercrombie Albatross. Abercrombie Beach Style. And now you're getting into the lesser lights down here, but of the top five, you can see a pretty consistent profile shaping up. The presence of Art's Adios or an Abercrombie line, and the presence of a line through Meadow Skipper that's through a son or a grandson, and particularly through Albatross. And other than that, what you see here in Perfect Sting is a great mare called She Be Stinging. Made 800,000. I think she may be a world record holder of the record of 447. But why was she so good? Does she have anything to pass along other than her speed? And did she come by it naturally, or was it, where did it come from? Better's Delight. You go back here to Dottie's Pick, Margaret Parish. Amber Tussle. Slapstick. Helen Hanover. Behold Hanover. another one, Helen Hanover. Then there's Margaret Parish down here through Bewitch, I believe, as well. That's Helen Hanover. No, it's Helen Hanover. I didn't show you Helen Hanover up to now, but I'll show you her again. Show you here. Remember that inbred pattern that Margaret Parish had? Here it is again. Dylan Axworthy. Adieu goes back to Nutwood, son of Margaret and Miss Russell, right here. So that's the same heritage, inbred, closely inbred in Helen Hanover. And he shows up a lot in, of course, in Pacers, much more so than in Trotters. Oh, what's going on? I thought I found a Margaret Parish back in here. Maybe it's in here. No, it's not. Anyway, what you have here is a mare that's a double to Margaret Parish. She'd be stinging. And the maternal line, this Vivian LaBelle, is a double to Helen Hanover. So it's a pretty strong complement of X factor traces coming through. So a powerful mare. Again, you don't have a TB or a double pedigree, but you have a mare that is extremely powerful with respect to maternal connections. And obviously it helped her become a great race mare. And this colt just could end up, well, right now he's the very best by all to be Mickey. But next year as a 3-year-old, he could be the best of them all. So that's perfect sting. Now we're going to look at the 3-year-old fillies.
Norman, how important was Tar Heel in that last pedigree?
I'll get back to you. Just remember your question and I'll get back to you. Okay? I'm just muting everybody for now and I'll take questions after we get through these. Just make a note of your question and we can go back to it. Okay, we're going to go to Peaky Sneaky now. Bit of an upset last night. Party Girl Hill didn't expect this one. Well, she was close. She was only beaten ahead, but I mean, it's a shame, you know, happens. You're on a winning streak like that. Tall, dark stranger, same thing. Get beat by a head or a nose or whatever. Even some beast somewhere got beat once. So here's Peaky Sneaky. Again, it's the better's delight. Even though Better's Delight's got Margaret Parish back in the pedigree here. So what's down here in World of Rock? Well, Rock and Roll Hanover goes back through Shifting Sands and Ensign Hanover, Golden Mist. Ensign Hanover is the son of Helen Hanover. So this is there's a Helen Hanover trace at the bottom end of Rock and Roll Hanover, something that worked out well for him in a lot of his successful horses. When he was bred, the fillies in particular, when he was bred to mares that carried the same trace. But here's Annihilator again and Big Tanner, both of which are Margaret Parish carriers. So World Order is a double to Margaret Parish, right here. And we know Bettor's Delight's got Margaret Parish. So that once again, we got this powerful combination, Margaret Parish coming up here in a filly, is bred to a sire that also has Margaret Parish. So again, it's again, you look for a pattern here. There's no pattern. There's a Big Tanner here. There's a direct scooter here. There's nothing up here that relates to it. Well, direct scooter and Overtrick are both Volomite lines, but the Big Tanner is here, and the Abercrombie is here. I see this a lot in pedigree, in good pedigrees. Abercrombie on one side and Big Tanner on the other side. Maybe no Abercrombie here, no Big Tanner up here, but I see that across the pedigree a lot of times. Just wondering what the affinity is between the two. I mean, he's got an Adios Dam here, but other than that, I don't know what it is. But anyway, it's just something to watch for. But Peaky Sneaky obviously is another filly. She's a double to Margaret Parish and out of a mare that's carrying one plus Helen Hanover. Pretty nice maternal stuff. Great fillies have great maternal combinations. Doesn't necessarily, I mean, having a double to Margaret Parish across the pedigree doesn't help a colt at all, because that Margaret Parish doesn't enter into it for a colt, because Bettor's Delight, for instance, can't pass Margaret Parish trace to a son. Doesn't work that way. The X factor only goes father to daughter or mother to daughter. Yeah, that's Peaky Sneaky. Now we get the long shot of the night. Sand between your toes. Oh, my toe. Sorry. My toes. What's going on here?
It's my toes.
Yeah, it's not letting me change it though. A little glitch here somewhere. There, I hope that's it. New program is not perfect yet. Okay, what do we got here? I was very happy to see this because I just, with a couple of my friends, bought a horse to stand to PEI by the name of Flameproof Hanover. And his mother is a half sister to Galleria. And Galleria, of course, being a great mare. Somebody said that this colt was born when Galleria is 22 years old. There's been Her first one and her last one. Oh, there's Galley by the Beach too. But here's Fashion Ecstasy. It was the Dam of Flame Proof Hanover, but also Filibuster Hanover, 1.8 million. What do you think? Do you think he'll be a good sire? He wasn't much of a racehorse himself, but there were reasons for that I know of. He got hurt off track on 2 different occasions. But I think he's got the pedigree to be a sire. But anyway, that's for another day. But Galleria obviously was a tremendous mare. And her maternal line actually goes directly to Margaret Parish. No twists or turns along the way. Margaret Parish comes right up the road on that one.
You guys been losing subs? Not necessarily losing them, just not a lot out there. Because we've got
So this mare had a lot going for her, and of course she had Margaret Parish. Some Beast Somewhere is Margaret Parish. That doesn't affect the colt, but this particular pedigree is obviously pretty decent. And if you look here, you see Abercrombie, Metaskipper, Abercrombie, Metaskipper, and Adios Line. So it's a double pedigree. If you don't have one, you better have the other. You don't. This one's got both. It's got a great mare and a double pedigree. I wish I'd noticed that on the card last night when I was trying to handicap it. Maybe that's a new handicapping tool to use. Bet on the Margaret Parishes. Okay, we're just about through here. A couple more. Kissing in the Sand. She's been on a tear lately. And expand it a little bit here. Some Beach Somewhere I mentioned before. He has both Margaret Parish through Beachdale and Helen Hanover through Camfella. Well, here's Camfella across the pedigree. This is the mare. Camfella across the pedigree, Helen Hanover double. And down here, and here's Real Artist, the Big Tanner, Margaret Parish. So this mare is a double to both Margaret Parish and Helen Hanover. Doesn't get much better than that. And again, if you go down here, you're Abercrombie and 3 Metaskippers. You got an Abercrombie, another Adios, a Metaskipper, and here's that Big Tanner stuck in here again. But doesn't matter. Don't need it. Don't need that pattern. Special pattern. Got a very special mare here. It's got all the makings of being a great mare, and obviously she's won, I think, the last 5 or 6 in a row, and now she's got a crown. And the last one, Good Canadian Horse. Owned by a Maritimer, bred and trained by, trained by a Maritimer. I think our very first Maritime owned crown winner. Although Ian Moore, who's the trainer here, had Shadow Play and a couple of other pretty nice horses. Shadow Play won the Little Brown Jug. Some people would say that's even better than winning the crown. But here's Century Pharaoh by Mach 3, Sire of Some Beach Somewhere. So that line, that Matt Scooter line, had a pretty good crown. 4 winners in the pacing races. And again, if you want to look at the pedigree, you want to look for patterns in the pedigree, you got Meta Skipper, Adios Line, Meta Skipper, Adios Line, Meta Skipper, Meta Skipper, Meta Skipper. It's a double again for between Meta Skipper and Adios. If you look at the Beachy Girl, we're not looking at across the pedigree for doubles to Margaret Parish or Helen Hanover, but Beachy Girl, there's Shifting Sands again, Golden Miss, that's Helen Hanover, one of the best treasures you can get in the bottom end of Real Desire. And here's Jenna's Beach Boy, Barbara Direct. Is a grandson of Helen Hanover. So Beachy Girl is a double to Helen Hanover. You also have Annihilator down here somewhere. Yeah, he's there. Margaret Parish is in there as well, although it's not doubled in the pedigree here. But every little bit helps. So that was Century Pharaoh, a double out of a mare that is a double to Helen Hanover. Ian and I have several times been on panels together prior to the sale down here, and a couple of other special occasions. Ian is very much a confirmation guy. He's great at it. He can pick out the flaws. Of course, he's a veterinarian, so he knows the good from the bad. And he's a trainer too, an excellent trainer. But he's very much a confirmation guy. And I was the pedigree guy. We were kind of like black and white across the table from each other in that respect, because I think confirmation is great, but a lot of great horses have raced with poor confirmation, but not a whole lot of great horses have raced without good pedigrees. In fact, in my experience, I haven't found any. But anyway, one thing I showed him when he had 2 very good colts in a row in one year. Malicious was one of them. Can't remember the other one, but anyway, he had 2 great colts in a row, and they were both out of mares that were doubles to Helen Hanover. And I showed him this, and he said, "Oh, is that important?" I said, "You bet it is. What do you think made these 2 colts so good?" "Oh, they were great looking horses." "No, yeah, that helps. But what makes the difference is what's in the mother. And in the case of those 2 colts, that's what was there. The other one was called 18, I think. And 18 is Ian's son drove 18 to win the Gold Cup and Saucer. Just a little bit of maritime history. But anyway, get back to Ian. Ian does watch out now for this situation. Now, mind you, he has a good partner in Ron McLennan. Ron has the program here, and he uses it, and is not afraid to call me and ask questions and get my opinion. And that's fine. Anybody can do that. So if you have your eye on something like this, and you're a little unsure as to whether or not the mare is got these special individuals. If you can't trace it down yourself, going back through the pedigree, I can send you a list of all the sires that have it. I got to update it because I haven't looked at it and updated it in the last couple of years, but I'll update it. If anybody wants it, just let me know. Just send me an email and I'll send you the list. And then you can spot them. You'll be able to say, oh, El Campbell is a Helen Hanover, Annihilator is a Margaret Parish, so on and so forth. Anyway, that's Century Fair. So that's all of the units. So let's, I'll unmute you now, all of you. Don't all chime in at once. Take there's no unmute all here. There's a mute all, but no unmute all. Anyway, I'm just, some of you I can't unmute, you have to do it yourself.
Norman, my question was about Tar Heel. I saw him in one of the ones we were looking at.
Talking about Tar Heel?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it was Chimpanzee, but I don't.
No, it
recall
wouldn't be
the
Chimpanzee.
region.
He's
How
a
important is he?
Tar Heel's on the pacing side.
Yeah.
Tar Heel, of course, has been a great maternal influence. And there's a reason for that. It's right here through Volomite, San Francisco, and the mayor called Oniska. That's one of the 5 main maternal sources of the X factor. And here's Oniska. You see something familiar here? Inbred, 2x3. It's a little bit different from the other ones were 3x2. But again, here's Nutwood, Miss Russell. Very famous. All these 5 key mares, X factor mares, all have the same pattern. They're all inbred to a son of Miss Russell. So Oniska is the one that comes through San Francisco to Volomite. And the other one is Adieu. The other top mare. You can read all about this in my book, Queen Among Queens. It lays it all out for you, the pedigrees and so forth, tries to tie it all together. But here's Adieu, out of a mare called Bye Bye. But you see, and Bye Bye is by Nutwood, that's the son of Miss Russell here. And Guy Wilkes is out of Lady Bunker, and Lady Bunker is by Mambrino Patch out of American Star. Two of the other, like Miss Russell, the main keys that go back into thoroughbred pedigrees, back to Spanker mare. So Adieu is another very important mare. So Tar Heel is, as I say, is a key mare when it's doubled up across pedigrees. I did a little rundown on Chart Nan, so you might have seen the article. I went back through her pedigree, and she just one generation after another doubles up Tar Heel for about 4 generations before she gets to her dam. And when you see something like that building up in a pedigree, at some point it's got to turn, it's got to let loose and produce something special. In fact, there's a quotation that I put in the book, it's written by a guy who wrote I guess the authoritative book on thoroughbred pedigrees. And he commented on this phenomenon of a buildup in concentration of a certain trace in the maternal lines to the point where it explodes in the form of a special individual. Words to that effect. And that's in essence what you're seeing here in most of these crown pedigrees. Just that maternal buildup to the point where something special happens. It may take a while, but and it may not be this generation, maybe it's the next generation that it happens. But when you have mares like that, it's just a matter of time.
Hey, Norm Peter, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Question, I see here you have a new feature, broodmare sire profile, which I'm very interested in. Could you explain that a little bit, how accurate this is and how much you put into this?
Okay. You go to the stallion tab and you put in a sire, let's say Cam fella. We're going to do it. You can do a sire profile, but we're going to do it. We're going to go down here to a broodmare sire profile. And what this does, it brings up all the, shows you the broodmares of his top 10, top 20 best progeny here. Well, actually, it shows them all. Well, that's just, that's the broodmare sire report. Sorry, but as you can see, there's a whole bunch. 19%. It's probably higher than that in North America. If you take out some of them that are in Australia or Great Britain. I'm looking for the sire profile down here. Basically, you're looking at a snapshot of the best mares, the best Camfella mares, and what was behind them maternally. Here's Camfella's maternal lines. He's my most happy fella out of a bred Hanover mare. The next dam below that is Horton Hanover, and the next one is Tar Heel. And this one here, it's Windshield Wiper and Adios, Strike an Image, True Luck, Sunsam Oil Burner, Tar Heel Adios again. Albatross got Tar Heel maternally, Sunsam is Tar Heel maternally. This strange one, but it essentially shows that Tar Heel mares 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them had second dams that were Meadowskipper sons primarily, by Meadowskipper sons primarily through Albatross or son of Albatross. And there are 3 that are Nova Victory line dams, and only 1 Adios line or Abercrombie line. So if you had a Camfella mare with a second dam with an Adios line, you'd look at that top 20 and you'd say, wow, maybe this won't work. Because there's only 1 there and there's only 1 big towner down here. The vast majority of the ones that worked for Camfella mares had second dams through Meadowskipper. And on the other hand, if you look at the third dams, there's only 4 of them have second dams through Meadowskipper. And the rest of them are all a variety of 1, 2, 3, 4 Tar Heels. Here's an Axworthy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Adios lines. So that's sort of a picture that you can get if you want to breed if you want to look and see what Camfella mares have done and what what's the makeup of the best ones. Now, mind you, down here, below 650,000, there's a lot of nice horses, obviously. All the way down, 100,000 winners. There was a pile of them. But in the very best ones, you get a feeling for the profile of what maybe should be in the second and third dam, what sire lines.
We take a relatively newer broodmare sire like Muscle Hill, because this already has 30, 40 years of
He does. Muscle Hill doesn't have very mares.
he's got a couple now that he's
Yeah, but he doesn't have very many. But I'll show you what it's
right. That's
working
what I'm
so
trying to understand. That's what I'm trying to
show you
see.
what's working so far.
Right, that's what I want to see.
Here's Hypnotic Am. Venerate. Venerate actually was a double-double. Hypnotic Am is a TB. Both these ones, and this is another double-double here, Crucial. And this is another double-double here, Work Dimension. These are double-doubles to Muscle Hill. These bears, or these horses, are a double-double out of Muscle Hill mares by Chapter 7. Anyway, you can see that the second dams like here's Muscle Hill's maternal as the broodmares are. He's Muscles, Yankee, and American Winner. And the second dam is a Cantab Hall, and the third dam is a Pine Chip. So far, it's a mixed bag, and it's early yet. But here's a Garland LaBelle and another Pine Chip here, or not a Pine Chip, but a Pine Chip line.
So if you have
It's a bit of a mixed bag at this point. There's nothing that's jumping out to me that I could see.
if you have a Muscle Hill mare, what's your best guess at this point? Chapter 7 or Father Patrick being 2?
Well, here's Hypnotic Am. Look at this one. Hypnotic Am is Speedy Crown, Star Sprite, Pine Chip, Speedy Crown, Star Sprite, Pine Chip, Speedy Crown. It's a double-double. $1 million winner, not surprisingly. But so this is a Muscle Hill out of a Cantab Hall with a Pine Chip down here. Now that's specific to that particular mare, the fact that it worked with Chapter 7. That doesn't mean that Chapter 7 is going to work with every Muscle Hill mare that he's bred to. In fact, just very quickly, let's have a look and see what they've done. Here's the Chapter 7s. I'm going to filter for them. Well, they're doing not too bad so far. There are 15 of racing age, and 5 of them have made 100,000 or more. One exceptional one, one reasonably decent one, more than decent one, and 3 kind of just over the 100,000. 2 of them out of the same mare here. So a little early yet, but obviously, if I was looking at breeding a Muscle Hill mare, I'd like to have one that looked like the Pedigree Man. Let's see what Corazon Blue Chip looks like. It's little different. There's two Speedy Crown lines and two Super Bowl lines. You know, you got the Star Sprite line here, Speedy Crown, Speedy Crown, Speedy Crown. No, I'm sorry, this was an Arnie Almar's line. So you could make a case for it being a double-double because this is, after all, these are all speedster lines. So this is fourth dimension. This particular mare is a double, Corazon Blue Chip is a double to Margaret Parish a couple of times over. There's a Rodney mare down here. And of course, Muscle Hill. You can unmute these yourself if you wish. I'm just working my way down. A few more. If anybody else got any questions here on this? Craig, I managed to unmute you.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. Interesting.
Dennis, most of them are asking me to ask you to unmute yourselves. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the process, but it's obviously blocked, so I can't open up your mic. You have to open it up yourself. So those of you who have an open mic, you got Ed and Peter and Kathy, Linwood, Craig. Have you got any questions on any aspect of the program here?
Norm, Norm, after the in the families, you have the V for Volomite and a trotter, S for Speedster. What's the W stand for?
Who's this?
Peter.
Yeah, I know
after-
it's you, Peter. What's
Yeah.
the horse?
Yeah, after many of the different families, like for chapter 7, I see V for Volomite, S for Speedster, W, what's
what do you-
W stand for?
What are you referring to here?
If you put up the family for chapter 7 is Pedigree, and then you put up family,
The sire lines, Nor.
Yeah, okay.
star lines, yes.
How about the-
Yeah, W stands for
Volomite.
what?
Speedster,
No,
worthy boy.
V is Volomite, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no
What's the-
victory line. It'll go back to the Wilmot, yeah.
What's W?
Really boy. It's Volomite.
In his case, it's N. It's V for Wilmot, yeah. Noble Victory, actually. The Noble Victory line splits at Wilmot, goes to Worthy Boy, which are the W ones, and
Okay, worthy boy.
the Noble Victory ones, which are the V lines.
And F?
Like
Okay,
that.
I'm looking at something
S
else.
is
What's
Speedster, S is Speedster,
F is in Frank? What's that for?
F,
French.
French.
French? Yeah, I have a French.
It's
Red
actually
mare, so I
a
was looking at
particular
combine.
line, the fuchsia line in France. There are 3 or 4 different lines. One is N for the Normand line, which is doesn't occur very often. There's an Axworthy, a continuing Axworthy line in French breeding. And there's a couple of other minor ones, but the fuchsia line, the F line is the main, and the Axworthy line are the main French lines that you see in French breeding. Of course, you see a lot of S lines now because there were some Speedy Crown stallions imported back in the 60s there, as well as some Star Sprite ones that are basically, those 2 lines are dominating French breeding now. The French sire lines are pretty much had the biscuit. They're disappearing.
Norm, I love the broodmare prior profile. What else would you consider to be the best new features versus your old program?
Oh, well, there's a number of new features, I guess. One of them, of course, are the profiles themselves. They weren't in the old program. You couldn't do a sales profile. You couldn't do it. Well, there was a special, I called it a utility, which was outside the program that you had to have on your computer in order to run. It was a database utility, but it wasn't built into the program. So you couldn't do SAR profiles. You couldn't do sale profiles. There's a bunch of other ways of manipulating data that are new. If you go to utilities, there's a bulk editor that allows you to make changes on a whole bunch of horses at the same time, rather than do them one at a time by typing in the names. Of course, the horse sale thing, you couldn't get a list of the sales. Here you can get a list of the sales, and you can click on it and see what horses are in the sales. These are the maritime ones here. And if you wanted to put in the prices and save that, print that off and save it for your record, you can do that. You could also, of course, as you've seen, you could go down here on the horse tab and do a sales profile for the Atlantic Classic. I'll do this one because it's fairly quick, but I'll do the trotters and it's even quicker. We don't have very many trotters down here in the Maritimes. There are only a dozen or so in the sale. But you couldn't do this with the old program. Another thing you couldn't do is that you can't go in here, for instance, and see what the cross is for credit winner with Tad the Stud. Now I can view that statistical information by clicking on here. And it should do it fairly quickly, I hope. Or alternatively, I can just click on credit winner and it will give me all of the crosses of credit winner with Tad the Stud. And if this one happens to look like one of the good ones, then that's obviously a plus. If it doesn't look like any of the good ones, then obviously it's a negative. You never want to try to be the first guy to be successful with that particular cross or a particular type of mare or whatever. I mean, that's long shot stuff. Oh, I forgot to press OK. That's why it's hold up. Your percentages are going with the percentages and looking at what's happened in the past as the basis for what you expect to happen in the future. Don't be guessing. You don't have to guess. Guesses cost you money, a lot of money. And ultimately, you run out of money before you run out of guesses, usually. So, but if you're playing your percentages and dealing with facts as they show up in the profiles and so forth, then you can make reasonable choices. I'm not saying that you're guessing, you're making choices based on facts. And those are always higher percentage success rate. And of course, it's not 100% anyway. I keep telling people that genetically you're entitled to 1 out of 4 getting the very good horse out of a correct pedigree choice. And I don't know why this is not doing this. I'll get out of it. Don't be doing this stuff to me. Anyway, Peter, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, very helpful, Norm. Thank you.
There are other things that you'll probably find as you go along. I think formatting and reformatting certain One thing that I find handy, because I do a lot of editing of old pedigrees, if I go in and I want to do a descendants report, and I want to see what's going on here, every now and then I'll find a duplicate in here that shouldn't be there. So I can sort it by name and quickly scan it down. It's especially good for if you're looking. I get some people that have the program that just love to do old pedigrees. They'll go back here. Let's see. We'll go back to the origins of Dean Hanover. Here's Hamiltonian. And you can show the descendants of Hamiltonian. And here they are. And if I sort them by name, I'm sure to find some. There's two there, the 2 years different. Neither one has any folds, so it doesn't really make any difference, but they're probably the same. No, that's Amanda Wood. No, so they are different mares. But I've scrolled down here, I'm sure I'll run into some. Here's a Bonnie Lassie and a Bonnie Lassie spelled differently. They both have folds, and they're both the same year. So obviously there's something wrong there, just the different spelling. So I can easily go in there and edit the name, change it to Bonnie Lassie or whatever, move the folds over, correct errors. So that's something that anybody that's interested in working with old pedigrees, they can do that too. It's always nice to do that. I, in my spare time, spend some time doing that kind of stuff as well. There's a couple of other things that I want to do with this program, and hopefully I'll get them done before the end of the year. And sometime in January, when I put out the full North American performance update and all the European updates, I want to have those other ones finished. There's a couple of added features that I didn't quite have time. One of them is the traces to the maternal factors like Margaret Parrish and Helen Hanover. I want to be able to just click on a button and say, show Helen Hanover. And everything that's got Helen Hanover will light up, or everything that's got Margaret Parrish will light up. So you'll immediately be able to see doubles, which mares are doubles to those two important mares, or Hatteras, or Kathleen, or Adieu, or whichever ones you are interested in seeing.
That would be amazingly time saving, Norm.
Yeah,
I know I started making a list myself of the Helen Hanovers, the Margaret Parishes, all the sires that they run through. Same thing, Dean Hanover.
I got a list of 3,500 sires if you want it. and it's not up to date. Now, a lot of them are minor sires and don't show up in a whole lot of pedigrees, but at some point they did.
On your new program here, I missed last week the Zoom. I actually went out to Indiana to the sale. Did you have kind of a tutorial on there? And I just uploaded it this week. Is there like a tutorial on there to be able to use it, or you just kind of?
No, what happened last week? We lost the video when the app crashed, and lost the video. I got today's video is still going as far as I know. I hope they don't limit the time on it, but it's still going. So this session will be is recorded, and I'll post it. And from now on, hopefully, I'll be able to post every session that we have. I'll do this every Sunday. You get a chance to come across something in the program that's strange that you want some clarification on, or if you want to look at a particular mare and get an opinion on it or whatever. Let's just, get your questions lined up ahead of time, and we can do that to the benefit of everybody. What time are we now? We're getting close to 4 o'clock. I was going to close this off at 4. So anybody got any other questions on program issues at this point. Everybody satisfied with the way it's working? Some of you may not have the program yet, but it's available obviously on the website. It's a free download, and you don't have to pay for it for a month. And then it's only $50 to pay for it. You a Canadian, and Americans get a deal. 36.
I have trouble with when I go to print out the pedigree. If I want to look at it on a piece of paper, I like to look at the paper compared to the computer. It
Yeah.
doesn't print like it used to on your old program.
No, I noticed that. I had told her, I told my programmer to fix that, but there's a glitch with respect to long names.
Uh-huh.
They're wrapping in the box, or they're just not completing the whole name.
Right.
And so I reminded her of it the other day, and that will be fixed by the end of the year.
Because I love the other way your program printed, gave a great pedigree, and it was really great to look at, especially if you do it in
Yeah,
the landscape form.
the format is not great. It's not like it was
Right.
in the old program, but hopefully we'll get it sorted out before too long.
Super.
You know, Norman, when he's talking about the printing of the things, we can't get any color. You know how when you look at it, it has the different colors?
Okay. This
Is
is
there a
common to
set-
everybody. First thing you do when you open up the program,
Yep,
go to your user settings and display options,
yep,
check display SIRE codes on pedigrees, print SIRE codes, color highlight pedigrees, print
okay,
color highlight duplicates.
perfect, okay,
Everybody's, if you're using the program, set it up.
yep,
Use it, you're using it, and then save it.
okay,
There are other things up here like user information, conversion settings, print settings. All should be done before you start into the program, and then you won't have any of these issues.
awesome, thank you.
I'm having that same issue. Here we go. Okay, anybody else?
Norm, just an aside, you were talking about Century Pharaoh and Dr. Moore's affinity for confirmation. He certainly is a gorgeous animal. He happened to be in my trainer's barn. That's where Dr. Moore sent him to Indiana when he won the dam patch, and then he sent him back for the breeder's crown. Boy, he is a gorgeous animal.
Well, they're pretty. All of his stuff that he buys is basically have to be flawless. There are so many horses he could look at, and he looks at basically all of them. But I always tease him since he started with he had Shadow Play. Shadow Play was a great looking horse, and then of course he retired him to stud, and the first crop came along, and Ian didn't ask me for a list, but Ron, his pedigree partner, asked me for a list of the ones that I like, the Shadow Plays that I like. And I modeled Shadow Play on Rock and Roll Hanover as a potential profile. Let me show you why. Here's Rock and Roll Hanover. He's a Western Hanover line out of a mare that combines direct scooter and Abercrombie, or an Adios line. Here's Shadow Play. Shadow Play is a Western Hanover line out of a mare that combines direct scooter and an Adios line. To me, that's my model. Rock and Roll Hanover already had foals on the ground. Now, what did they look like? So these are the top rock and roll hammers. Now, immediately you see this inbreeding. These are all TB horses. A lot of them, almost all of them. And when they're not, they're inbred to Abercrombie. But for the most part, they're TB patterns. But they're Abercrombie lines that are inbred to Meadowskipper with at least one line through albatross. This one's got two. Here we got it here, here again, here again, here again, inbred, annihilated, no nukes. Here again, albatross, albatross. Again here, again here, again here. This one's a little different. Okay. The second part of the profile was obviously Cam's card chart or Cam fellow line. Cam fellow lines that are inbred with an albatross line or inbred to Abercrombie. Albatross, albatross, Meadowskipper, son of Meadowskipper, Abercrombie, Meadowskipper, Abercrombie inbreds. So there were two primary profile factors. Abercrombie line dams that are inbred to Meadowskipper with at least one line through Meadowskipper, a son, or albatross. And Camfellow line could be two ways. It could be inbred to Meadowskipper with a line through albatross, or inbred to the Abercrombie or Radios there. So let's have a look at the sire profile. So based on that, I gave Ian a list of 12 yearlings in the first crop. One of them was Arthur Blue Chip, who happened to be my top pick. But there was another one there that he didn't take because he didn't like getting back to confirmation again. He didn't like the confirmation. Maybe you can guess who she was. Right there on the top of the page. Camfellow line inbred to the Adios line. Kendall Sealster, Camfellow line inbred to the Adios line. Percy Blue Chip, this is the same as Arthur Blue Chip. Art Abercrombie inbred to Meadowskipper line with albatross. Skipping by and Backstreet Shadow aren't quite the same, but you could make a case for a third profile factor on that basis. But they didn't show up. They didn't show up over here in here, except for down here. But here's another one here that's investment blue chip. Camfellow line that's inbred to Meadowskipper with a son of Meadowskipper. Here's a funny one with Big Towner again. Another Camfellow line inbred to, see this is happening all the way down. Abercrombie inbred, Arts Place inbred, Meadowskipper, Camfellow line inbred, Abercrombie. The profile is almost exactly identical. And that's what I mean when I say you can create a profile for any new sire based on the profile of a sire that's already out there and has foals racing. Just has to have a similarity in terms of best to have the same sire line and the same combination maternally. It doesn't have to be the same individuals, but the same combination of sire lines maternally. So it worked in this case. Ian bought Arthur Blue Chip. He bought Play It Again, Sam. He bought a couple of other ones down here that no longer show, the lesser ones. And he obviously went back and bought Percy Blue Chip, paid 100,000 for her. He didn't pay that for Arthur Blue Chip. I think it was a little bit less than that. But that's a classic example of the value of star profiles and how you can create one based on facts, on history. You don't have to guess. This was the very first crop of shadow play. And I picked out two of the two best ones. Just out of the 10, they were on the list of 10 or 12 that I gave Ian. And 8 or 9 of those all raced at 2-year-olds. Okay, we're 2 minutes away from closing time. Any last questions here?
Thank you, Norm.
Thanks, Norm.
You're all very welcome. And come on back next week. We'll find a topic. I'll post the topic next week if something pops up. Obviously, the timonium sale is going to be all next week, so there'll be some interesting ones sold there. Perhaps we'll have a look at some of the high-priced ones and see which one people have thrown their money away, and maybe look at some of the less expensive ones that some people might have missed.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for participating, and see you next week, hopefully.
Yep.
Thank you, Norm.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Great
Norm.
job, Norm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll